Thanks a lot for this overwhelming support throughout this last 8 to 10 months. And a big round of applause for you all. Thank you. Yes, we are very much overwhelmed, right? This is happening. But before starting, I would like to thank two important personas for whom this entire event is possible. First, our venue sponsor, that is IIT IndusNet and Technology. And next, our title sponsor, Dipon, from MindWeb. Okay, yeah, from MindWeb's venture. These two people, these two entities believed in us, believed in what we are doing, believed in the space that can provide some real learning to the community. Thanks a lot for that. So big round of applause for them. Now, there are another couple of things I have to share. I will not take a lot of time. Just quickly say, because see, this is a community, they have given us the space. So for that, there will be some code of conducts. And here, this is the agenda. Well, there are code of conducts. If you are in the React Kolkata WhatsApp group, we have shared the code of conduct in there. So there are a couple of things. There is a very list, long PDF. But yes, I just want to briefly talk about that. Please maintain the decorum. Okay, first. When a speaker, a panelist is giving the session, please be mindful, respectful towards them. If you have any question, raise your hand. Our volunteers, our people are always there. And be kind. That is the first thing I would like to say. This is a community, so be kind to each and everyone. If you have anything, if you need anything, any doubt, as I said, our volunteers and people are there, always there. You can just raise your hand, or if you have anything specific, you can mention in the WhatsApp group as well. But yes, please join the WhatsApp group. That is very, very important because we are going to share all the updates in there as well as all the necessary resources that the speakers are going to share. So please be in the WhatsApp group. Next, another important thing, I think, yes, this is the code of conduct, and another very interesting thing that I have to talk, and I had given some hint about that initially. We are going to do something very special, hashtag war. Okay, so a hashtag war is what we are going to do. It will be hashtag React Poll 2026. You have to go, you have to tag us in the Instagram, in the LinkedIn, in the Twitter. Our team will count the highest number of hashtag that whoever is giving. We will count them, and there is a very special gift for them as well. So you have to do, this is an opportunity for you to earn a goodie. So I will really encourage you all to do that. Okay. So now, moving forward, I would like to call up to the stage our very own Tapasda, our Tapas Adhikari. I know many of the people are here. I know they are also for Tapas Adhikari as well, right? I am saying that, right? Yes, just a big say yes, right? They're here. I have received countless messages that hey, Tapas Adhikari is coming, right? We want to meet him. So yes, this is your opportunity as well to talk to him as well, take pictures with him as well, and whatever the things you have to ask, please, he is there. So I will, I will call upon him on the stage and talk about React Kolkata. He is that how should I say, that godfather, that father figure of React Kolkata, of React Play, and a very prominent figure of entire React community in the Kolkata, in India, in the world. So yes, very big round of applause for Tapas Adhikari.
All right, so thank you very much. First of all, for that awesome introduction. You can go to the next one. I don't know what is the next one. Okay, that's my introduction again. Okay, so I'm sure unlike what she told, many of you may not even know me. So I'll just give you some brief about me because that connects to what we are doing today. So I'm in the industry for last 20 years almost, or more than that. Started from Java, now writing AI agents. So that's what the long path looks like. Apart from that, I have a company of my own called Creovis Technologies. So I founded that 3 years back in Bangalore. So that's running right now. Shulana is one of the employee of that Creovis right now. And whenever I get time, I teach on YouTube. So I call myself also an educator. That's my YouTube channel. You can check it out. And I'm very proud that I started a community called React Play 4 years back as an online community, and then transitioned that to an offline community. And that's a community which was bootstrapped with open source project and got the open source project of the year in the React Summit in Amsterdam in 2025. So we hit a huge milestone over there. But things are going well with React Play. Well, things are going well with React Play. What we started figuring out that we can do something in Kolkata because belonging here, I'm from Ranaghar, not very far from here. Studied in Jalpaiguri Engineering College, again in West Bengal itself. So I always wanted to do something for the community over here, and that's why we started React Kolkata. So that's why you guys are here. So thank you for being here and keep writing things on FreeCodeCamp and other places. And definitely an open source enthusiast since 2009, I guess. I can connect whenever there is a break, like how I started my open source. I can probably give you some piece about it. So that's what about me. Okay, can you go to this one, please? Okay, React Kolkata, I think is very personal in a way that we started it as a very small community, a very small online community. Always with a dream that someday we will book a room like this, we'll stand here, and you will be there, and all of us will be talking to you. I'm getting goosebumps. It's very personal. And that happened today. Thank you very much. This is our journey so far. Very interesting, exciting journey. So way back, late 2024, some folks came to me. We want to do something, and this was in my mind also. So let's do something. What to do, how to do, nobody knows. You can see the timeline from late 2024. It was in 26 July 2025. It took almost like 8 months for us to figure out the first step. Let's do an online meetup. Any of you from here attended an online meetup? Any of online meetup? One or two? Oh, a lot of people. So we did our first online meetup on 26 July 2025. Second one, we repeated it so that we don't feel like it was a fluke. We did it again on 30th August. Then in October, we did something for Hacktoberfest. How many of you know about Hacktoberfest? Okay. A lot of people, right? It's a celebration of open source, the way that's how it was started. Then 29th November, we did something for building stuff. 24th January, we did a panel discussion, and that was quite well appreciated because from industry folks came in. They were talking to students and the professionals, trying to say like how to build career and things like that. When AI is trying to take over things, right? So we did the panel discussion, and finally on 23rd May, today, you are here, and we are here. So that's the overall journey that we have, and I just want to say that this is just the start. We want to keep doing it. I don't know the frequency. That will be probably defined by you guys. There are only 6 or 7 core members over here. You are seeing them right over here. But we need more people to join hands to help us. There are a lot of different activities that are possible by a community. So please feel free to connect to us if you are interested so that we can grow it much faster and do more events, maybe every month. That's what I'm doing in Bangalore. Probably want to repeat it here as well, right? I think I am done with my stuff. Can you go to the next one? Okay, these are some numbers. Idea is 1. That's how we started. We have done 6 events, and today the total community members actually touched 2K, including LinkedIn, WhatsApp, all the places. And you guys are and one bittersweet aspect of it today, we are feeling sad that no more chairs left. People are outside. I never expected, right? None of us expected. We felt like it's always like this, okay, 260 people register, 30% will come. 50% already inside. People are outside, right? So that's a good thing. That's a good that Josh should be there, right? So yeah, we definitely want to grow. So thank you very much, and I would like to thank again our venue sponsor, IndusNet. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring this event, and really so kind of you. And it is really, really great that when sponsors comes up, because without that, doing an event like this is really difficult, right? And probably doing it again and again is very difficult. Thank you very much for that. And special thanks to all of our core members. So I would like to request all the core members to come on stage so that you just know them. Please, Arindam, Arindam. There are a few folks outside. Please come on stage. Anybody else? Okay, there are a few folks outside doing registration. So give a please huge round of applause. They have worked really, really hard to make it happen. And today, whatever you're going to learn from here, technical, non-technical things, I think they have a lot of hands behind that, right? And one request would be, if you get a time, please talk to them. Because if you want to run your community tomorrow and do something about community, I think they have a lot of experience by now to share. Okay. So with that, thank you very much, guys. Shulak, now over to you.
Okay. Thanks a lot for this warm, like, I am speechless. Like, as I said, that yes, this is, I think, if you can go previous slide to the, just want to say about, yes, this is React Code 26. This is the hashtag that you have to follow and tag us furiously, tag us fiercely. Okay? So we are doing counting. Our team is counting, still counting. Okay? At the very end of the event, we are going to tell and give a shout out to that person who has like given us the maximum number of hashtags and tag us. And there is a special gift for that person as well. Okay. So there is one thing I think I have missed previously. That is the agenda. If you can go to the agenda slide. Yeah, this is the agenda. Already the keynote is done. Now we have two talks from one Devjit and from Indori. Then there is a quiz time. Participant in the quiz. There is a goodie for the person who is going to give the maximum number of correct answer as well. We are going to talk that later. Next is another two talks, and after that there is a break period. After the break period, there is another fun activity. Please don't take any of the activity here casually, okay? Each activity has something, and whoever is going to be the winner will get something from us. So I'm not going to talk about the one activity. It will be revealed later. And then another bonus thing, that is the panel discussion. I think many of you will be benefited from the panel discussion as well. Our panelist has arrived also. So yeah, that is the very last thing. And after that, there will be felicitation to the winners of the quiz, of the fun activities, of that tag award, and also the people who has like supported us, the communities who has supported us. Yes, there will be something for them as well, and also our beloved speakers and panelists. And at the very end, there will be the photo session and networking. Okay, so this is more or less the idea. Now I'm going to quickly jump to the event and the planning of today. So first, I'm going to call up on the stage Devji. And yes, I have opened my phone with a PDF because you know what? Our speakers have so much achievements, so many achievements. It's really hard to remember. I have just made sure that yes, I will not forget a single thing about them. They have a lot of things beside their names, and I'm going to talk about that before calling up them upon the stage. So yes, our first speaker is Devjit Molli. He is the software engineer at Argon and a community builder running GDG Shiliguri and React Shiliguri as well. And a writer at Dev2, a LinkedIn top web development voice 2024. He was also featured by Google for Developers India for his community work. Please give a big round of applause to Devjit.
Yes. Yeah. Hey everyone. So before starting today's event, I also have some of the things to share with you guys. So uh, as Shulagna already said, right, Tapasda is the like brain behind all the like two communities actually. With React Kolkata, there is another community. We started after like React Kolkata is live. We started React Shiliguri because so like I have been a part of Google communities in 2018, and in like in my place in Shiliguri, like anyone who is from like North Bengal, yeah. So like folks know, right? There are not a lot of communities there, but we had a like get a good amount of traction for like Google technologies there. So we found out and like for in our Google events as well, we had a lot of talks about React and front end. So we had a good amount of audience. So then like later part of time, like I also connected with like Dada that like okay I want to start something related to React in Siliguri, and then we started React Siliguri. So we have like two events till now, and we are planning like many events upcoming days. So if you want to join, you can also check that. So there is a reactshiluri.com, our website. So there you can go. Yeah. So let's start about today's talk. So already Shlagna gave a brief description about me. So currently I am currently working at a company called Argion. So that's a remote fencing company. So yeah, with that I have been a part of many hackathons, been a part of a community for a long time, and like right now also keep learning. That's the things that are going on right now. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, so let's get started about today's event. So, how many of you are building applications using React? Like for 2 years, let's just get a raise of hands. 2 years, 3 years. I think many of yeah, like suppose I think it's decade, right? For you. Yeah,
Guys are
okay.
making it very
Yeah.
old.
No, no, not like that.
Dinosaur,
Like
dinosaur,
yeah,
dinosaur.
he's the like the seniorest folk, I think. Yeah. So when we are building application with React, the main problem we face right now is uh, we have a lot of application, right, that we have built till now. But the problem with the application is every time we build an application, we have a simple design or architecture in mind, right? एक front end होगा, right? We have a like server and then a database होगा, right? But there are a lot of dependencies, right? If you're a front end developer, you don't know, right, what will happen if the data doesn't come from the API, or let's say the network goes down, right? There are a lot of possibilities there. So currently the for front end devs, the most irritating part is like loading spinners everywhere. You just go and right now we have new things also, right? We have shimmer device also. If you go in LinkedIn and YouTube, right, we got a loading screens. So, but it's all the time it's like that. And second thing is offline is equal to broken. Why? Most of the application when we develop, we don't have that idea. Okay, what will happen when the app goes offline? We don't think about it, and what will happen is whenever the application go into offline, the application suddenly breaks, right? We don't have anything to handle that. And third is optimistic update bugs. So if you are even thinking that okay, I want to build something like offline focus, then also there are a lot of challenges there. So I will like talk about them later also because there are my personal experiences as well using React Native to build applications that like that. So yeah, so let's change our mindset a little bit and think about okay, what if the client was the database, right? Now what is the perception? So normally, like this is a very basic idea what we have, right? We have a client, we have a API, we have a database, right? That is how normal applications work. But let's say you want your application. So if you check in Google Docs also right now they have offline mode, right? Most of the application right now, Google and other companies as well, they have offline mode. So let's say your data lives into your browser, so lives into the client, right? And then it syncs in the background. That is what happens. So if you uh, let's take a simple example. Anyone tried WhatsApp and like turn the internet off and try to send messages? What happened on that time? Say queue. It's going to queue, right? It doesn't like it's not like that WhatsApp gets broken, right? It stays in the queue. Whenever internet gets connected, it automatically send that message, right? That is how it works, right? Now that is the approach that we are going to think about. Like so, first is the the data lives in the client until we get the internet, and then when we have the internet, the data syncs in the background, and the application is offline by default. And whenever the main challenge I am going to talk about in when I'm talking about the 7 ideas that time, that main challenge is how to sync that data, because that is the most crucial part. Simple example, let's take a simple example. You are sending a message, and someone from the other side, he or she is also trying to send a message. So the problem is the internet is not there, right? Now, whenever they send a message, there was a timestamp that also attached, right? For which time they are sending the message. Now, whenever the internet got connected, now there are like 3 messages from this side and 2 messages from this side. How you are managing the sequence, right? That which message should go first and which message like come later. That is the most critical part. So this is like the 7 ideas that I'm talking about. This is like if you go and search in like Google, this is one of the first thing you are going to find in the internet when you want to build application offline first. There was a ink and switch blog paper for 2019. If you search in internet, you'll find that paper, and in that paper they talk about the 7 principles that they found, which you need to learn to tune your mind to become from server first to go into local first mindset. That mindset. First is no spinner, like means instant local reads. What happens, for simple example like WhatsApp, right? It doesn't break the application. It has its data. Same example for Spotify, right? It doesn't break the application. It show you a banner that okay, you don't have an internet connection, but it doesn't break the application. So that is the first thing, that no spinners. Second is works offline by default, not an edge case. Now what happens when we build application at start is you have a mindset, okay, let's build the application first and let's think about the offline use case later. So it happens with me as well in my previous organization where we work. There also we have the same type of situation, and then we found a lot of issues. And then after building a full-fledged application, if you want to convert it into a offline first mode, it's very difficult because your architecture planning everything goes into a line, right? You have, let's say, 50 plus API call, you have like in database 40 tables, right? How are you going to manage that everything? Migration of all these things are very hard. Then real-time collab multi-device. Now this is another big challenge that people found. Like whenever you have, let's say, multiple devices. Now, if you see for Google and Apple, both of the companies, and Microsoft, every big company, they have this clear thing that they want to try to build, right? That they have an ecosystem, right? We know, right? MTV, the people who saw videos of MTV, he also talks about this ecosystem, right? This thing. Now, the idea is like you can pick any of the device, right? And you can just log in, and they have an application, and you can just sync the data all over the platforms, right? Now, this is another challenge that when you going to build an offline application, right? Then how you want to fix that? Then real-time collaboration, same thing, right? Conflict free. This conflict free. This is the part. This term you will going to like hear a lot. That is CRDTs. Now, what is CRDTs? The I told, right, the most difficult part is whenever your application is offline, and then when you get that internet, and now you need to manage all the data, right? Syncs all the data. Now this is the most difficult time because in Git, what happened when two people trying to commit in the same line? What happened? Conflicts, right? Same thing happened here also. Now this is CRDT is basically algorithm. The algorithm right now, it is still in research. There are a lot of research going on around CRDTs, that how we can like optimize this algorithm so that the conflicts that is going to happen, so using that algorithm we can like resolve that. So normally right now all the these local first packages that I am going to share about all the packages that right now in trending. So if you use any of the packages internally, they all are using CRDTs. So if you go into their description and all, they are like talking about that only. And then long lived data, like whenever, let's say, even if your like cloud service goes down and like you get your own ownership, so you got a full ownership of your data. It's not like that tomorrow, like some of the company, let's say, for example, like YouTube, right? They ban your account and your videos are gone, right? It's not like that. That's not going to happen. Privacy and security. So data stays with the user, right? And the last is like user ownership. These are the like main things that you get your ownership of the data, and that is what will going to happen. Now this is the traditional cloud architecture that we have, right? We have a UI components, right? The front end, which calls like we all use, right? Fetch API and all those stuff, right? SEOs and all those. And you just go into the network, you call the server, right? And then it fetches the data from database and you send the data. Now there are many things that can happen in the network, right? You can get latency, failures, and spinners, right? That is what happens every time, right? And a client is temporary view, kill the network, and the app dies, right? That is what happened. Now I wanted to share a personal experience that happened with us as well. Like when we are building in my previous company, we have like application. At first, we just build it, and then that application grows for like 40 plus countries, multilingual application, React Native. It's running on React Native now. When we build that application, we never thought that this situation will happen. That the users who are using that application, they are from different countries, different places. There are places where the internet is very poor, and that application is actually a chat application, chat call, everything you can do. It's kind of like I can tell is Microsoft Team for pharmaceutical industry. It's kind of like that whole application. Now that product, we face this issue, and then we thought, okay, let's bring an idea and let's try to build an application which is a light app. Anyone who have used light application like Facebook Lite and anything? I think right now not a lot of people using, right? But previously it's there, right? Light apps, Facebook Lite and all those applications, right? And the idea of those applications are, so number one, there are two things that you can find in this application. First, the size. Size of the application is very low. If you go and try to download the right now the Facebook or any application, it's like very large, right, in size. But if you try Facebook Lite or anything, it's I think last time I used it's for like 4 MB or 3 MB. It's like that, right? And we had that idea, okay. And second is like the internet, right? If you use any light app, the internet is like internet usage is very low, regardless of the actual application. Now this is what happened when you build a local first application. uh, so we also, when we like build that application in React Native, we also had the same idea and we have implemented something like that. So at first is like your UI component layer, right? The front end that you have built. Now normally what happens? You have front end, you have API, you have a database, right? Now, what if you can build a replica of that database in the user device or client side? That is what the local first approach is. So you have UI component, you have a local database, right? Now there is in between a sync engine is there. The most critical part I was talking about, where you need to sync the data with the actual Postgres or whatever API or database you have. You need to sync that data. So in short, how it works is you have a front end, right? Now, whenever, let's say simple example, I will like show you an actual example, like try to replicate an actual example with you guys. So let's say you build a simple to do, right? Or that is the simplest CRUD application we have. So you try to add a to do. Normally, what you do, you go to the API, and that API you take that payload, store into database. Whenever you try to get the data, it fetches from the database and go through the API channel and go to the front end, right? But let's say for this architecture, what is going to happen? Whenever you try to add a to do, what will happen is at first it stores the data into the local DB. That means in your browser storage. For web developer, it's browser storage. If you are a like app developer, you have multiple options like SQLite is there and lot of like good databases are out there which you can like store the data in front end. And then that database has a sync engine which basically syncs with the database, actual database, which is like running through the server. So whenever you try to fetch the data, it's never going to try to fetch the data from actual server. It's try to fetch the data in you're from your local device only. So there is another benefit there. Whenever it try to fetch the data with your local database, it's very fast, right? Because the data lived in your own machine, right? And whenever and after certain point of time, you can like set some delays or stuff like that, where after certain point of time, it keep fetching the data from the actual database. So your data will be always been like updated. So that is how the actual offline architecture actually works. Now, these are some of the most popular tools right now available, which you can like try out. So let's say if you are like a normal React developer who is like doing online focus stuff and you want to build something offline, so these are the like some of the popular libraries you can try. One is Zero, that is from Lohitor. It's like very popular, but if I tell you frankly, at first I'm not going to tell you to use this because it's a full base, like full fledged thing. It's like at first it's better to start with tiny ways, because if you want to start with like building simple applications, simple offline focus stuff, you don't want to write a lot of boilerplate code, tiny ways is the best thing I can say. And if you already have a Postgres database, like your actual database is a Postgres database, and you want to build in something like that in front end, then you can try anything from zero or just SQL. Anything is fine, right? So it's all about like the use case. But at first, when you want to just learn about the concept and like how to like I have a very small application I want to build that. Timebase is I think the best tool you can try out. So now let's go into some actual like I'm no, I'm sure like no one is very much into like I want to see a 1 hour demo live coding, right? I already thought of that, so I built that application already, right? What I want you guys to understand from that is uh, after this slide I have a architecture diagram also. Just understand that, because if you understand that part, it's already because I think everyone is right now using Claude, ChatGPT, anything, right? How many of Claude people are there? I think yeah, everyone is Claude right now. I think yeah. Not sure like how many people are like having like Gemini or ChatGPT using for coding. Codex. Yeah. I think yeah. There are right now many people are trying Codex. Gemini, anyone? Yeah, right. After the last day's launch event, how many of you watched the Google I/O last day? Right. Yeah. So they also dropped some like epic things. Yeah. So let's get into that. So first of all, what I want you guys before go through this all code and mumbo jumbo stuff, I want you guys to understand the basic architecture that you need to have in your mind. Because see, after having Claude, I think everyone understands that coding is not the most hardest part. The most hardest part is the architecture, right? That you need to understand how to wear that whole thing, how to prompt that to Claude, right? So at first you have a React UI layer, right? As I shown in the diagram. Then we have a sync engine. That sync engine for us is going to be the tiny base. Okay, that's clear. Then we have a local persister. In browser, right? We need something, right, to store that data. You can have anything. We have a local storage, session storage, IndexedDB, lot of async storage. There are a lot of storage that is available, right? So you can choose any of that. For my demo, there are some of the places I use session storage and some of the places I use local storage. Whatever fine for your use case, you can use that. IndexedDB is also fine. And we have a sync server that I created for WebSocket and broadcasting changes. Now, why is that? Because see, now to build the actual offline first application, which is like I have a actual API and I am basically have two devices, then I need maybe two laptops or two devices to show that whole thing. I think that's a lot of things. So I have created a basic example where what I will do is we have a simple to-do list type of application, but both are running into different browsers and they are not connected. Okay. Now, whenever we do changes into any one of the browser, it automatically syncs the data through this broadcast channel that I am talking about to the other browser. Now, what will happen is whenever I turn off the internet from one browser, like we know, right, in network tab we have an option called offline, right, throttling and offline. I'm going to make that offline, and I'm going to trying to update the data. And what we are going to see is one of them got the update, and other one is not going to get the update, right? That is what happened in actual application. Like simple example, like WhatsApp. And when the internet got turned on, it automatically syncs the data. That is what I'm going to mock it in the like whole discussion. Now let's go into the VS Code. So yeah, now like at first what I want to show you guys is see. So there are two. So I am going to like show you the code, but I think it's better to first show you the demo and then go to the code. It's like better for you guys to understand. Now first see. So there are two applications running. One is in Safari, another one is Chrome. So please don't mock me for like using Safari. I don't have any other browser like Firefox or anything. But yeah, so that's why I'm not going to open the DevTools in Safari because it's a mess actually. So yeah, what is going to happen is I'm going to add some things, right? If you see now, two of the browser, like whole different browser, they are both in sync, right? So let's say I want to try to do some things, right? Okay, let's be maybe. go to gym, and then I add it. And if you go and see here, it's already synced, right? So if you try to mark it in Safari, and yeah, it's marked, right? It's working fine, right? Now let's try to emulate that thought process that I'm going to share with you guys, right? I will go into the network tab. I just go, if here you have option called no throttling, right? It means like the internet is working fine. Here you have different option to throttle, and I just go to the offline mode. So now if you see here, I have an option just to show you guys that right now it's in offline. The internet is gone for this tab, and for these two tabs, to show you guys that these are different tabs. If you see here, I have a ID after a tab, and here after a tab I have a ID. They both are different, so they are fully separate application that are running. Right now, let's try to do something like now. Okay, may- and I try to add it. And if you go and let's say I just mark this hey, and right now for this tab I have a make t and high there, right? If you go here, you have a hey and high there. The data is not synced, right? The data are different because for one of the device I completely like stop that internet. Now the interesting part is, let's say I make that internet from offline to no throttle, right? Now here what I have, make t and high there, right? Here I didn't get any change, right? I didn't do any refresh or anything in Safari, right? But if you come here, you see the data already is getting updated. Now how this happened? This is where that whole logic, coding logic, that is going to come in. So let's go into the code. So I have built a like simple React application using Byte. I think everyone is right now using Byte, right? CRA is gone. We already have. Now here what's happening is I have simple like React main.tsx, and we have a app.tsx. Here what happened is, at first I want to show you guys is the store, right? Uh, how many of you have used Redux? Zastand? Anyone? Okay, Redux, I think, yeah, Zastand also some many people use, right? So it's more of a, I can say, kind of like architecture like Redux. Okay, that is going to happen here. So what happened is, I have something called create to do store, and it's going to use a function that is get create mergeable store, and it basically get a tab ID. Now what is happen is, Tinybase has a function. It's simply, you can think of it like whenever we start React, right, you have a function called create store, right? Something like that. I am right now don't have a lot of like day-to-day work in Redux because right now we use Sustand a lot. But yeah, in Redux we have a lot of what I can say boilerplate code, right? So same like that. At first, it's basically going to create a store, right? And here what is happening, if you see, I am basically using session storage dot set id, and that's mean is, if you go and in the application, if you go into the application folder and go into the session storage, what you will see is I am basically storing the tab id, which particular tab it's running. Okay, this is basically the id what you can see here in the bottom, because I want to replicate, right, that both are tabs are different, fully different tabs. Now, what is going to happen is, in the local storage, basically for the simplicity, I am storing all the like data. Right now, all the to-dos that you are seeing, it's going to store into local storage. And in between, through the broadcast channel of WebSocket, it basically connect the data. So after this, we have something called, in the server, we have a index.ts. Now, what it is, how many of you know WebSockets? I think most of people know, right? WebSocket. So it's simply a WebSocket connection. The purpose of this WebSocket connection is just to send the data. Whenever we got the internet connection back, we just throw the data from one to another tab. Now what will happen is, we have a sync status, that what's the current status of the sync, right? And in the app.tsx, if you go here, we have a lot of things like how to get online, because in Navigator, anyone use Navigator? Navigator, we have an API in browser, okay, called Navigator. Those who don't know, in Navigator we have a lot of options. Like you can see the browsers, internet speed, and all those things, online, offline, everything you can like get from that. So I am basically using from like Navigator.online to get that online and offline status that you are seeing, right, when you are just moving into offline mode. That is basically something that is going to show you is online or offline. Now here, if you see, I am basically creating a store, and setting all the values. Right now at first, if you see, when I at first load the application, it show the filtering all, right, all, and then active, and then, yeah, like completed, right. So it's basically I'm setting the filters. And then there are two things that you need to see. One is this use create synchronizer, right. And then this, one second, yeah, see, create broadcast channel sync organizer. Now what is this? There are two things that can happen. Like for my demo, it's not going to actually happen, but for my demo purpose I created, you can open in Chrome two tabs, right. Now the problem with that is, that means because they are using the same port like localhost 5173 that the white by default use, they are going to share the data, because same port means same storage and they are going to share the data, right. Now how you are going to manage that? To do that, I created separate things. And there is another thing is this broadcast channel that I created. The reason of that is when you have multiple different browsers, right? What I am emulating right now. So like, one is Chrome, another one is Safari. So that means full two different browsers. So to create the connection between them, I have used that. So if you like thinking like, okay, there are so many jargons there, you don't need to do anything. You just go into their documentation and they have a like step by step guideline like how to create one and how to go different steps and like that. And then I have like simple add to do, filtered bar, to do list, and stats, everything. So it's like a simple to do application. Whatever you do, add to do, delete to do. But instead of like what you do normally, you have maybe a array JavaScript. In JavaScript you have maybe a array or object, right. You just mutate that. Instead of doing that, what you are going to do is you are going to mutate that store that is in your local. Okay, and whenever the data got updated, you broadcast that to the other browser. It's like that. So it's basically how this whole thing actually works. In the components, I have like simple things like add to do is basically going to add the to do. So see, store.set row. What you do normally, right? You have a to do list, to do's dot push, right? That is what you do. Same with that, I have a like store.set row. Because why we do that? Here, everything they conceptualize like a table. So anytime you add a new thing, you just put a new row like that. And like all the other components are like that only, like simple. Whatever you build a normal to-do list application, it uses the same like logic. Just you need to think about that I need to do all the operations through that store instead of doing directly to any object or array. So yeah, this is I think the base application that I want to show. Let me just go to the next. Now, okay, you may think like, okay, whatever you are telling is everything is like, okay, it's like good thing, right? But what are the challenges, or let's say, what are the problems that you are going to face when you are going to build a offline first application? Because if you see, most of the people don't think about it, right? In the first place, first is the auth and permission are harder, right? Because normally what happens, uh, normally how authentication works, right? If you use Google Auth or anything, right? You just go put your mail, right, and Google authenticate it, or whatever email password. If you use, you have a database, it authenticates. It is very easy, right? But when you are going to build an application which is like offline first, you need to think. You need this authentication handling is itself is a lot of challenging task. And then schema migration gets tricky. What it means is, let's say I close the application and don't use that application for 6 months, and that's the offline first application. Now, after 6 months, when I try to open that same application and let's say connect it with internet, the problem is the data or maybe the architecture, whatever that company is using previously, they changed that, right? Now, how are you going to sync that? Because the table gets changed, the columns get changed, everything got changed, right? That is another tricky part. And partial sync is a design problem. What happened is it's happened with us also when we are building that application, that sometimes this thing happened, right. The data is not synced properly, so there are a lot of issues comes to us that okay, we send a message but the data is not synced properly. This is something that happened. And bundle size is real. Now why? Anyone can tell me why bundle size is going to increase? Anyone? Like let's say, uh, one simple question. Let's say if I'm going to build an application, right, which is the offline first application, why the bundle size is going to increase? Right, right, the right answer, right. So that is the whole thing, right? That database is right now your phone or your laptop, right? So that the bundle size is going to increase. So many people are going to see, if you see in Chrome, right? What's the most annoying thing in Chrome? That the size of Chrome keeps like increasing, right? Because they like trying, if you store a lot of thing in Chrome, they're like it's going to increase. So now, why I told these things, because also you need to aware of a thing that is it something that is really needed for my application or my company, because that is the thing. At first, at first, when you think about the architecture, you need to think that is it something that is required or not even, right? So these are the use cases like where it's required and where it's not required. So let's say you are building a content site, a blog or landing page. Is it even required to have a offline first application? No, right? Because you will go and see just and watch. So here it's not needed. Or data is server computed. Let's say you have a lot of analytics data. You send the data into server. There are a lot of computations going on. Front end. There was a popular quote I read in one of the front end blogs I am reading, that front end should be dumb. That is what normally your thought process should be. No heavy computation should be done in front end, because anytime you are trying to do that in front end, you are basically using the resources of that user, right? So it's not a good idea to do that. You need a strong consistency like banking, inventory, ticketing, right? If you use banking application, they even don't allow to do things in call, right? When you are in call, you see all the banking application is not going to allow you to login also, and your data set is too big. That is another big problem, and your team cannot take on new mental model right now. It's what happened with small companies. When you have a very small company and you, let's say the thing that I told about, that you have 40 plus APIs already and there are 40 database tables, it's very hard, right, to migrate all those things into offline first. So these are the use cases you don't use when you need it actually. So like collaboration is for multiple users on the same data, right? The data is basically shared data. It's not like what this particular user is going to be used. So that is one thing. And offline is a real requirement, not a nice to have. That is what happened with us also. That you have an application which is used by a lot of users who are right now maybe think about someone living in the like northeast part of the place where like the internet is very bad, or in the top of the hills, right? Then however you cannot tell your user, right, don't use my application because internet is not there, right? You need to think about that. And then you want an instant device. So basically I don't want any load screen. Like Notion, like when you use, right, it's very snappy like that. And users edit the same record multiple devices. I have multiple devices, I can update that. And like data privacy and ownership, this is one of the like biggest thing. I think every like content creator or whatever people are, they have this trauma that, let's say, whenever you store the data in whatever cloud, right, iCloud, Google Cloud, whatever data, or let's say whatever profile you have, Facebook, Instagram, you don't know, right? Because they are the owner of your account. They can ban you in instantly and your data is fully lost, right? That's why like some of my senior folks, I heard that they bought a hard drive, and whatever data they have, they store in cloud. They store that same data in the hard drive because they don't have a like ownership of the data, right? That is another thing. So this is what you need to think about, that okay, is it really needed? If yes, try it out. Or let's say if you want to experiment with it, you can do that. And if you don't need it, I think it's a better thing to like don't use that or over engineer the stuff. So these are the three things what I want from my session, that to take is that client can be the database. That is the first approach that you need to think about. That it's possible. It's not like it's not possible, or it's not like that whenever I build a simple application at first, that time I just use it. You can use it anytime, anywhere. Big companies are already doing that, and the tooling is finally here. Previously, it's very hard. You need to, I think, people who write JavaScript for a long time, they know, right? We have a local storage, .set item, and session storage. So it's you don't need to do that. It's already there. All the libraries are there. You just need to use those tools. And like I think that is the third thing that I told Tinybase, use Tinybase, build some small application and just understand that okay how this approach actually works. Yeah, I think that's all for my session. So anyone have any questions or anything, like you can ask me, or like if you are not comfortable you can like reach me to socials also, that's also fine. So anyone have any questions, queries? Yeah.
So here, is it necessary to have this Redux or any kind of?
No, it's not like that. Like you can have Redux because see, the whole purpose of having Redux is you want whenever you want that what I can say subscribe method, right? That whenever anything updates, it automatically update other components, right? But the approach what I am telling you is after Redux. So let's say take another example. When you use local storage, right? that time also use Redux, use both at the same time, right? That is what I'm going to do. So whenever you also use tiny base, I already showed you, right? It's also using the local storage session storage index DB, because it's like simply thinking about, okay, it's React or Angular. End of the day, it's JavaScript, right? Anything your browser doesn't understand anything. Same thing whenever you use tiny base or let's say anything, it's not like that they are the main manipulator of your application. At the end of the day, that's three or four storage, right? That you have in browser. So you can use anything like under Redux you can have these things. So it's just to make sure that whenever let's say you call that normal method to call the API to store the data, before that you also call it to store that data into the local database as well, like that.
And what about API? If I get API response first, I have to store it in index.
Yeah. At first, go to the like it's kind of like right now you direct transaction, right? Front end directly talk with API to go to the database. Now in between that you have a local database.
And this index is for the engine that the reconciliation is doing. That will call the post API or any update API.
Yeah, on that time it will automatically call that.
So we need one API for that.
No. So basically, tiny base. That's why we have tiny base, right? It is going to handle all of the things for you. So normally, what happens is whenever you call that,
Who will be listening in the backend side?
yeah,
Who will be listening in the backend side? In the backend side.
yeah, because so in the tiny base, so think about let's say when you build something using Redux, right? What do? You have front end, right? You whenever you call a data, so we have RTK query, right? Redux toolkit query. Yeah. So what RTK query does normally, right? It you can query the whole data, like what you do with Redux using RTK query, and it use Redux. Through Redux, you just call the APIs and all the things, right? You can do through RTK query, right? It's something like that. That database is a middleware kind of thing you can think about, and whatever the query that you are doing, right? You are going to do the same things. It's just that whenever you want the application to be snappy, that okay, I want to call the database, it's fine. But normally what happens? Until the database call happen, you see a loading screen, right? What it's going to happen is
Those I understand. I was just asking the architecture, the backend, how it works.
for database, the Postgres database table that you have, right? It will be going to be the same. What you are going to do is create an exact replica in the front end, or not maybe an exact replica, maybe a live replica. That whatever data is actually here, because it's not possible, right? I can put the entire database in front end, right? So whatever data is necessary. So to give you a simple example, when we build that light application in our company, what we did is whenever you have a light toggle, you on that, what it will do is it will make some of the feature disabled. So wherever we know that okay, it is going to call a lot of APIs and query a lot of databases, we just disable those features because we cannot put the full thing.
Exactly. Just one simple question: like where the reconciliation happens, at the backend or the front end?
Like I didn't get the exact question.
Reconciliation means when you have the unsync or not sync data. So somewhere it has to do with the algorithm you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah, that trigger is that. So if you go into my code, in there I have a line called, I have a like in a user head, I have a thing called is online. Whenever that internet comes back, it automatically triggers. Yeah, it automatically triggers that okay, now I need to sync the data.
Okay. So it brings the older data from
Newer data, fresh data from database.
and it does all the
Yeah, it's like that. That is so right. So whenever I turn off the internet, if the data is not updating, whenever I turn on the internet, I didn't change anything, right? It automatically gets synced like that.
it is pull only.
Yeah.
Push.
Yeah, you can do anything. Like you can also push also because when you see, I can add a new to do, right? That also got synced, and I can just when I check or delete a to do, that also got synced. So it add say any operation it can do.
So it behaves like a temporary
Kind of storage until you have the internet, like WhatsApp.
because we do the exact same thing with SQLite.
Yeah, SQLite. Yeah, because so in mobile app also,
Yeah.
last time I used SQLite only. Same
It's
thing.
very snappy.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I think it's a behavior of WebSockets as well.
Yeah, whenever we
If
get the
I-
connection.
If I suppose there is my application is going offline, and I am storing the entire thing in index DB or suppose
Yeah.
a local storage as is. So whenever I get into online and the WebSocket is connected,
Connected, it
so
automatically-
the database it actually fetches data from database and as well as
As I save
transfers.
the data,
Yes.
both the thing at the same time. That's why I have the server file I showed, right?
Mm.
I have a server folder. That WebSocket is basically doing the same thing.
This is the behavior of WebSockets as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's the. These are the some of the resources. The one resource I think you can also search about is the first one that I told, right? then you can switch paper. You can just search in Google, you get the paper, you just read about it, and you get the like better idea how it actually works.
This tiny base is the database, right?
Yeah, it's not the database. What I can say, it's like sync engine.
I mean, yes, yes.
Yeah, sync engine. Yeah.
Okay, that was a great session, right? I do agree with this that it was such a resourceful, insightful session. How many of you think? Yes, indeed. And I think this is one thing that we all need, all the developers who is working the front end, we need this knowledge some today or tomorrow. Okay, I think there is disconnectivity. Yeah. Okay. So couple of things that I have to say that if you want to revisit things are live streaming, so you can visit our YouTube channel as well. We will share all the resources in our group. You can go and find all the things from there. Okay. First thing. Next is our very friend Flutter Kolkata. They are here today, and they have given some stickers as well, right? So whenever we will find from next time that you are asking some resourceful questions, the questions are actually helping others, we will provide a stickers from here. Okay, everybody, can I have your attention? Yeah. And another thing, just want to say before we start our next session, be kind, be mindful to your fellow attendees. Okay, when a speaker is saying something or there is a Q&A is going on, please try as much as to lower your voice, because just like that question may help you, right, as well. So be mindful, be kind. This is a community, and you are here all to learn as much as possible, and we all will encourage you to do that. Okay, so I think we can quickly jump to the next talk. So our next talk is by Indranil Maiti, the senior software engineer specializing in Magento 2 development with experience building custom extensions, GraphQL APIs, AI-powered solutions for scalable e-commerce platform. So he's currently exploring AI automation and intelligent assistance for e-commerce. So a big round of applause for our Indranil Maiti.
Okay. Am I audible? Okay.
From the very last.
Hello. Hello. So, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, first, myself Indranil from the IIT. Okay, and this is my first time I'm speaking in front of such audience, so I'm a little bit nervous. I would like your support. Also, I'm an introvert, so So I'm not a tutor and I'm not a like that. I'm a normal developer like you. Also, I want to introduce myself. I am a lazy person. Okay. So my always focus that AI is not a tool. Okay. Something we can explore. And as I mentioned, like I'm a lazy person, so I always try to do some automations. like the manual things, how we can automate. So here, as I mentioned, like I'm a learning, I'm a developer, I'm learning. So you can you can ask some questions, but better I will ask you some questions that which next I can automate. You can give me the suggestions, okay? And in the next meetup, maybe I can show you the demo as well. So today I have not going through the details because uh, in the previous sessions we noticed that everyone is using the cloud AI tool. So if we have the idea, if we have that kind of knowledge, okay, this is what we can do, we can automate. Definitely we can build with help of the AI in the next session, next session. So I will give you the result that whatever the AI automation tool I have built, how it is helping me. That kind of uh, example I will definitely share. So first one of my question, like in the morning, whenever we wake up, the first thing like, okay, let me check the email, the calendars, okay, invitation, Slack, Jira tickets, everything. Like, so how many of us like do these things before after the wake up in the morning? Everyone, right? Okay, okay, great. So if I say like, do not need to go through the each platform, different tabs or something. You can maybe summarize in a single message, or maybe a single email, or maybe someone in a WhatsApp message. Like, okay, along with the prioritize, like this is the critical things, just like your assistant. Like this is a critical thing you have to attend first. Maybe summarize the content or give you some brief content that okay, in the next meeting you need to highlight this kind of things I'm talking about. I will definitely give you some more suggestions like the 7 days before I requested, I promised someone that I will send some response, but I missed because of my workload or something. If I get a follow up that okay, you need to follow up this email as well because last 5 days back you have promised something but you did not. So this will be really helpful, right? We are in a AI. So I will give you a quick summary that. So I mean, how many of you is like familiar with the co-work? Okay, co-work. Okay, the cloud co-work is one of the cloud features. Like there we can do lots of things. Like the co-work, something like he's also working with me like this. So see, this is one of the daily morning briefing I have presented here. Like it will take maximum 5 to 10 minutes to connect your Gmail, and there you can get such kind of actionable items. For example, you can see the urgent items along with the today's calendar, whatever I have. Okay, and also the recent email digest. For example, like last 7 days, it will go through the all emails and check. Okay, and give me a summary that okay, here you need to engage or something like that. Here's the follow-up reader, and also the priority of the priority order of the today. So I have already shared this kind of things over the day-to-day over the LinkedIn. You can check there. I always try to. And this is a very quick talk I requested for React Kolkata. So thank you so much for selecting me as a speaker. So you can definitely ask me about those tricks over the LinkedIn and all. I will give you the entire stage. Also, you can use the cloud. Like this is what I want, as I mentioned beginning of my conversation. That I want to build something like this, and so cloud also can give you the help. So this is one idea I just want to share with everyone that cloud core, these features you can utilize. There you can summarize the email, you can connect with the Jira, you can connect with the Slack or any other channel. Maybe you have 5 email in your personal email, your company email. The all things you can wrap up and you can summarize for your daily plan. So this is one example. Now, now I'm moving to the next automations. Okay, so this is for, as I mentioned, for the, it's not like for the all the lazy person, but it's definitely give you some brief. You do not need to go to the every tab and all. Okay, anyone of us like use the N8N? Okay, great. So, so I would like to know like through N8N what exactly you have built. If you give some mic or something, like I want to know. So on there someone raised hand like yes. So I want to know that what exactly you have built using the N18. I think is it working? Okay, I can hear you. If you can. Okay, yeah, you can tell me. Right. So very good to know that apart from the development things, you also working. So working with such tools and exploring that. Also, while you are working with the N18, you at least you understood that lots of things we can build with the N18, right? Right. So any of us, any other want to share that what exactly you have built with the N18? I think Pritham is there. I know him personally from the IT. So Pritham, can you please share something like what exactly you have built with the N18? You can just.
Basically, what we do, we create a workflow by connecting multiple tools to achieve a particular like a task to automate
Yeah.
a workflow. Yes.
Okay, okay, great. So I have also built something, as I mentioned, as a lazy person, always I want to do something, optimize my work. So currently I am working with a multiple projects. So it's always hard to maintain the security scanning things regular basis or something like that. So I have built a security and vulnerability scanning tool through the N18. So I am just highlighting that with the N18 you can build such kind of tool as well. Whatever the work you are doing manually, you can automate that using the AI, and this will give you a summary or maybe something we overlook when we normally check manually. So definitely we will go through in details, but if we have at least some summary, at least we have some briefing or the security insight, that definitely it will help us, right? So here, like we have built a security and vulnerability scanning. There we have integrated the Telegram. There we have integrated the WhatsApp as well. For example, I just need to send the domain, and I can quickly get a report that if is there any kind of security or vulnerability related issues or not, any kind of SSL. Like sometimes over the weekends, like SSL is expired. Okay, we can definitely use some other tool which is available over the market, but we have built our own. That is something we are optimizing our as a team leader or maybe as a project manager. If something is happened, client will escalate or something like that. This is something we all know. So if we have something prior notice that okay, in next 10 days or next 20 days, your SSL going to expire. So that kind of logic or the automation also we can build. I just want to quickly share with you the mail what kind of report it is sending. So as we can see, this is the automated security and vulnerabilities analysis by AI. This entire flow or the process I have already shared over the LinkedIn. You can check, and if you have any question, I can definitely share that as well. So here we can see that this is the automated security vulnerability scan analysis. So here we can see the security headers is missing or not. If something is missing, how we can fix that. So this kind of things we can also hear the cookie security, content security, critical vulnerabilities, any kind of information leakage or the client side weakness. These are the parameters we have mentioned over the prompt. We are scraping the websites, the content security for checking the security aspects, and then through the AI we are processing and we are formatting the result or the output this way. So this is another example of the automate things. So I do not need to check or scan everything. This is something I set like a reminder once in a day or maybe once in a week. So our developer is pushing code every day. Sometimes we miss small things, maybe a small vulnerability. If we have such kind of tools, then we can at least notify that okay, this kind of security leakage is there. We can improve that. So another one we have like the SSL report or something like this. This is a also automated SSL analysis report. So this also we can build. So I would request this. I don't know your name, but I would definitely request that you already built something with the anything, but try this kind of other automation as well. You will definitely get benefited, and you will get the buyer notice message as well. So here we can see the what kind of recommendation, like we have the SSL over the website, but still we can what kind of improvement we can do, or what kind of issues still is there. So those we can definitely. Also here is a reminder as well that how many days is left. So these three small example I have given that it will definitely help you. So I would like to request everyone if you can suggest me something that okay, this is also I am doing manually. Can we automate that? So maybe in the next session I can build or share the experience with you. So now that's all from my side. These three example. So it is for you. Like yes, yes, please.
So basically, some days earlier, what I try to do is I try to automate my LinkedIn profile. By automating it, I mean like sharing some of the posts from Technical World magazines, and then it will be posted from my account in LinkedIn, so that my account gets a bit more attention and I get a bit more followers. So what happened is I used make.com for that automation, and in there what I did is I chose some of the magazines for RSS retrieval, and after that I also used Gemini to summarize the entire magazine, and from there it will retrieve the keywords, and after that it will be posted on my LinkedIn profile around the time that I give it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So right now, after some days, what happened is from LinkedIn, my account was banned for some hours due to that automation, and I
Yeah.
don't know like where did the
So
message was
here,
gone.
yes, that similar experience I also
Yeah, I have
faced.
to give government IDs to again.
Yes, some of the portal don't allow like this, or some of the portal also have the rate limit. Like if you are familiar with the rate limit and all. So whenever we are building such kind of automation, we need to make sure that are we violating any kind of policies or not based on their platform. Like for example, few days back, I am working with the Python projects. There, I repeatedly call the Anthropic API. So they have blocked me because of the rate limit. Because still we are learning, as I mentioned. I'm a developer. I'm also learning. But definitely your question is valid, and I am also face such kind of issues. So whenever you are connecting any third party, any tool, make sure that we are not violating their policy and all. Because first thing is like a rate limit, which is we need to take care. And also another thing, while I'm working with the LinkedIn, because of some other automation tool, they have few areas they have restricted. For example, getting the post and profile data, there we need some premium account. With the premium also, they are not providing such details. So we have to like as per their policy, they are not going to share such kind of things. So whatever the possible way or the data we have, with those we can definitely build the automation and all.
Another thing is, right now I'm in college and I am currently building up my profile and CV and resume, whatever. So I want to update my resume on a daily basis. Like right now I'm here, I will be updating my resume as well that I have attended this event, and
Right,
likewise,
right.
yeah. So how to automate that? And I am trying to get familiar with N8N as well. So can you just give me some tips?
Definitely, definitely. So I'll give you an idea on that part. So we can achieve this through the NAJ. For example, over the NAJ, for example, over the Google Doc, you have a CP, okay? And through the NAJ, you can quickly connect that document. It's very easy. There is a different kind of notes available. You can quickly get that. And now you need to connect with the Telegram bot as well. Okay. For example, it is Telegram bot is like an assistant, your assistant. There in background, you can connect the LLM. You can use some system prompt that whatever we are talking, whatever the meetup or community or something, whatever the things I'm doing, you need to summarize this. And here is my CV. You need to put this. So you need to just this kind of instructions you can mention over the Claude, and they will give you the system prompt. Based on that, it will update you. So maybe this requirement, maybe 3 to 4 maximum node is required over the NAJ. Okay, one is like like the Google Drive. One is like the Telegram bot, and the system for the AI connectivity. There's some AI uh, node as well. So with that, we can definitely ask. So exactly experiment that. This is what I'm mentioning. Like in AI, not only like restricted with the AI tool, only for the coding purpose. Think about like what I'm doing manually. Can I do this through something like the AI? So definitely, that's a good example. You can definitely do.
And another thing which I wanted to share with you is that we all use Gmail for different purposes, and when we use certain apps, we get notifications from that apps into our Gmail, which kind of overloads the entire
Yes,
process
we
of.
normally call them the noise, like something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So basically, what my idea was to have an AI assistant that will act as kind of browser extension, if that makes sense, which will kind of sort the emails based on the keywords. Like for example, if I'm using Internshala
Mhm.
to look up for internship, so like in one day it will give me many notifications, right? That some
Right, right.
some
So the first example is for you.
Yeah,
And the first
yeah, yeah.
example I mentioned, there if you can see this. So here, this here is the 7 day. You can see the follow-up reader 7 day. As I am a corporate email, I have received more than 200 emails. Okay, so this is only highlighted the five.
Okay, okay.
So it's already clear the noise and everything.
Okay, so this is the like this is one of the ways that I can use it
Definitely.
to sort out the
And
emails according to the.
if you are using Claude, it will maximum take 10 minutes to set up these things.
Okay, okay. And then what about the like the credits going away in Flora and how to manage that?
See, the good question. In a different way, I will try to answer this. Okay. So since last 1 year, I am using the Claude subscriptions. Okay. Okay. So even now our company is like promoting to use the cloud. They are providing the subscription, but I use personally from that time. So what exactly I have got? So for the cloud subscriptions, I spent around 2,000 INR something like that. Okay, but whatever the task was given to me, I have done within 1 hour or 2 hours. Rest 6 hour, I have studied. I have studied like for the AWS. One of my next, I think next speaker is going to talk about the AWS something like that. So I have learned lots of things about the AWS. I have done some research with the even in the office. So this is something I have spent monthly 2,000, but lots of times I have saved, right? So this is one like I'm given the example like the cloud. So if we use this kind of automation, this kind of things, so manual check. I mentioned that in the morning I have five different email boxes, Slack channels, Jira, everything. So I don't need to go through this all. So we if we save 5 minutes or 10 minutes in a single day, if we calculate in a like yearly basis, then we have saved lots of time. So we can those we can use for the learning and all everything. So that's the thing. So that's a good things like I'm receiving. Any of us like can you suggest me something like can you build something like this, or maybe in the next meetup you can show me that how we can build. Any idea? Any of us? Yes, please.
So currently, whenever we are applying jobs, the main thing that is we got bored after some time. After like 10 to 20 to 30 jobs, after a week we just got bored.
Or the Nokia something like.
No, not in Nokia, from different profiles. Like it can be LinkedIn, and it can be Nokia. But the main key point there is LinkedIn. If you apply job, there is a one-click apply job somewhere. In Naukri also same thing is there. But in some cases, like if you are applying for Adobe, so they take you to a different site and there you have to log in and fill all the details and put your resume. So what my idea is, if we can do based on the job description, we can customize our resume for a specific kind of jobs. Like, yeah, this is a front end role and these are the needs. So yeah, take my resume and customize it based on the JD and put it on the drive or somewhere and apply that on the go.
Understood.
Give me consult and
Okay, I got your points. I think my answer, you will get your answer. As with the answer, you can get your answer. So during our like internal hackathon, okay, during our internal hackathon, we build something similar to that. For example, our HR is, we have a job descriptions. We are finding some React developer, 5-year experience or like that. Okay, so it's very hectic for our HR to go through the email search and all. So we have built such kind similar kind of engine or the automation tool where HR will give the job descriptions, and the system, the automation tool will search over the LinkedIn, found the relevant candidate, and it will summarize this. So I'm just giving you the overview, high level overview, but yes, definitely we can do that. You may need to little bit research on how the web scraping is work, like this kind of things, and like how the sections where we can put the job descriptions and how it will work. So you can definitely reach out to me over the LinkedIn. I will give you some more suggestions. It's a short session I requested to React Kolkata, but I will definitely give you some more insight on this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you enjoyed the session? Yes. We all enjoyed the session. Who will even think that he's a first time speaker, right? Any of you like feel that? Like he's a first time speaker? A big round of applause for him. And this is another thing we learned today. We fear the most even before starting that we may not speak, we are not built for that, we are not built for stage. But we at React Kolkata promote this, the first time speakers. There is always one slot left for you, even in the this is what I want to say specifically. That at the very beginning you may think that this is not for me. But this is very the stage for you, and we will give you your first stage. So I will encourage you all from our next event, please the first time speakers as well. Please submit your talk. We will love to have the first time speakers and encourage them to come on stage. Okay, thanks a lot. There are some of the goodies, as I mentioned, the lady in the green, blue kurti. So these are the some of the things. I think I will ask, request the like volunteers here to give them the share them this small token of appreciation from our friend Brother Kolkata at the very end, Rupajyoti, and there was some another person and from here as well, right? Yeah. Big round of applause for them. Okay. Next, who is excited for the quiz? What? Just this many number of hands. You want another session right after this? Please, we will arrange that. Okay. You will win good goodies for this, right? So play well. And before that, I will again say that if you can share the React Kolkata, yep, the hashtag war is still going on. We are counting and we are keep watching. So please, please, please tag us in the socials. At the very end, we will count, and yes, we will provide a goodie to the winner. So yeah, I am giving the mic to another our core team member, Orindam. He will conduct the quiz. So yeah, all the best.
So, guys, ready for some fun, right? The sessions were like literally amazing. I got to learn a lot of stuff. So, start with a huge round of applause for all the speakers. We have some stars are ready to line up next as well. So, yeah. Yeah. So, this is me waiting for the quiz. I feel a lot of you can also relate. So, yeah, I was waiting from the beginning because I'm hosting this. So, okay, yeah. So here's the important part why you should take part in this. You will get a prize, you will get a good prize. I hope you all will like that. So yeah, that's something very good for you. And whenever we have some prize at stake, we know, we all are, engineering students or, we have been through a lot of exams. So we always have this habit of, sneaking through that. So let's not do that. We'll have a lot of other rounds as well, different types of exams. So let's not try this here. Okay. Now, here's a QR code. Scan this QR code, or you can go to slido.com and use this room code to join. Yeah. So I will give a couple of minutes to join. So let me know once everyone is done. Anyone left to do that? Uh, if anyone left, just raise your hand. If you're still doing okay, okay, okay. But yeah, I mean, I just want to thank all of you for coming. We are very much overwhelmed to see a huge participation in our first event. To be very honest, we haven't expected this much numbers, but yeah, I just want to thank all of you for tuning in today, and I hope we'll be seeing more and more people in our coming events. So yeah, anyone left now? Okay, yeah. So, let me just go to this slide. Okay. Yeah. So you still have the QR code if you haven't joined yet. So if you cannot join previously, okay. Okay. Someone just got the room code, which is good. Okay. Where are you joining from? To play quiz? Where is this place, by the way? This one. Room के अंदर से. Okay. Okay. I see the vibe here. I like it. Cool, cool. People are written their name as well. Nice, nice, nice. Amazing.
Community name. Nice way to promote, huh?
Wow. This is good. This is good. I like this spirit. Anyone left? All done? Okay. Let's go. Okay. So tell us more about you. How many of you are working professional and student? Uh, let's see who beats which group.
Team working professional.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, that is 72 and 28.
Okay. Okay. Not bad.
29. It's keep increasing.
Team working
30.
professionals. It's your time. Okay. Cool. 32.
Whoa.
Okay. Okay.
We can wait for one.
It looks like the exit poll, right?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Anyone left? Should I go to the next? Okay. Okay. We see students around 60% and working professional around 40. So let's just conclude here. Okay. So yeah, since it is a React conference, so let's how much familiar you are with React. Okay. Okay. Good balance as well. So for the quiz as well, we have kept a balanced set of questions. So beginners, advanced people, everyone will get something here, and there will be some fun questions as well. Anyone left? Okay. Now time to join the quiz. Yeah, just those who are here, just join again. We'll wait for a couple of more seconds. Let me know if anyone is left. Okay. Okay, I see 96. 97, can we get 100? Can we get 100? Any two people want to join? 99. Okay. Okay, now we have made the century. Cool.
Woo!
Amazing, guys. Anyone left? Anyone left? Okay. Nice. That will be a fierce quiz. So yeah, the rules will be we'll have 4 options, and the fastest finger wins. There will be around 7 questions. After those 7 questions, there will be a leaderboard. So we'll see who is in which position, and based on that, we'll be picking the top person. Cool. Everyone ready? Okay. Cool. Yeah. So in React, what does use state mainly help with? It's just a warm up. Don't think that all the questions will be like this. Yeah, it is just intentional, so people don't get overwhelmed. We have 3 seconds left. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay. I see someone also kept creating routes. Nice. Okay. As majority wins here, let's go to the next question. Guys, stay focused. Yeah. What is hallucination in LLMs? Yeah, it's just like we all have felt this, right? I told Claude Code to build my next startup, but it, somehow build some CRUD application and that does not even work. So you have felt that, right? So what is that? Okay.
You forgot to add please.
Okay. When the model writes CSS. Okay. Okay. I see that. Okay. Okay. So now time for the next question. Okay, so when you run console log type of null in JavaScript, what it prints? So some core fundamental questions as well, right? Let's see who has not vibe coded and actually went through the docs and went through the struggle of JavaScript. I feel a lot of us actually went through. Okay, I expected this, balanced version here. Small plug here. If you haven't went through the basics of JavaScript, suppose I have very good playlist on that. You should definitely check that. I myself have going through that. Okay. Now here's the answer. 31% guys, you have very strong fundamentals. And now it's an interesting question. You have one friend who replies in every group message, even when nobody asks them, which React thing behaves like this? If you badly, it's just much relatable, right? Okay, okay. Who is this 5%? I need to find them. I need to find them. Okay, cool. Here also majority wins. Next, among this, which model is not open source or open weight? Okay, yeah. So one tip from my side: don't go by the name. Which is not open source. I haven't mentioned that which is open source, which is not. Okay. 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 GPT OSS. That's why I've given the hint. Don't go by the name. Yeah. Here again, Anthropic's Claude 4.7 is not open source. Rest are the open source models. Cool. Now, here's this concept. I am passed from parent to child. The child should read me, not directly change me. What who I am. Oh, I shouldn't have given so much time for this, but yeah, everyone should get some points right. We need to balance things. Guys, don't just miss up on this. Okay. I again see this 4%. Again, this 4-5% people are have some issues with React. I feel. Now, last and the final question. Be serious. This is the title decider, right? Here we go. Which hook stores a value without calling a re-render when changed? I think we have kept it pretty easy, right? Okay, in the next event, we'll keep it one level higher. Since it was our first event as well, so we wanted to make it ground up. And I hope everyone should get it right. Apart from that 4% people. Okay, okay, okay. Folks, I must admit, you need fundamental classes, don't just write code. Okay, so we have done all 7 questions. Now, time for the leaderboard. Uh, who is confident that he or she has made it? Any. Okay, okay, we got one. Let's see. Okay, we got 2 people who are confident. Let's see. Okay, first is Olivia Ghosh. So, can you raise your hand? Okay, awesome. Give it big round of applause for beating. And I see second is Shomajit, Ritochit, Ananda. So these 5 people has done 7 out of 7. So give a big round of applause for all these 5 people. Amazing. Okay, the times are like crazy. Very strong fundamental. Yeah. Okay, so this is hardest question because I felt a lot of us do use Claude code, and this is the reason this is hard question because we don't go through docs. So yeah, that's pretty much of it. After this event, in the end of this event, we'll give the prize to Olivia, and don't worry, folks, we'll give shout out to all of these 5 people. So yeah, cool. That's from my side. Shlokanadi, over to you.
Okay, that was a nice and interactive quiz, right? You enjoyed? I cannot hear you. Did you enjoy? Still, did you enjoy? Yes, we all enjoyed. And we have counted that the person, Olivia. Big round of applause for her as well. So, a special gift is waiting for you at the very end. Stay till the end. Okay, now we are proceeding with our next line of talks. So, our next lineup, and this is the time for Rishabh Bhattacharya, and here he is. So, he's our next speaker. He's a senior software engineer at Ford Motors, and here he works with the AI enablement, team building AI agents that powers the entire SDLC. So this talk is about the future of how we actually build software. So a big round of applause for Rishabh Bhattacharya.
Good afternoon, all. Can you guys hear me out? Right? All right. Good afternoon. I'm here today to talk about. Yeah, sure. I'm here to talk about the agentic workflows, which allows you to enhance your SDLC. For people over here, and I saw that 60% were students. Who knows about SDLC or what does it mean? Hands up. Okay. So SDLC is software developer lifecycle. All right. So it's like every day, whatever the work you are doing, making it smoother, making it better. Indranil gave a glimpse of what we could do using agentic workflows. I will be giving more on how we could utilize agentic workflows for coding and other structures over here. So coming along, in the next 15 minutes, what we will be learning over here, we'll be checking out what are the key problems when we are working on any coding task or anything related to it. What are coding agents? What are single agent? What are multi level agents? And what are the guardrails we should put to make sure that the agents don't just write code out. So the biggest problem which we have, if you see, is the context loss. On a day-to-day basis, we are working towards like checking out the Jira, what the tasks are being laid down, going to our code base and working towards that. Then switching to the writing the code, then raising PR, then like fixing the bugs which are present in the PR, fixing the comments which are present in the PR, and then at the very end closing it out and repeat it, right? How do we make sure that these workflows over here are smoothened and automated over here? So what do we get over here? What gets lost is more on the code context and the multiple times when we are changing the context, uh, you lose that context of like or the flow of how you're coding over there. So with respect to this, how do we make sure the business context which you are developing are staying consistent and we make sure that let's say a new developer joins in, how do we make sure that the code structure and the standards which we are writing for the team stays along and we make sure that we standardize the output throughout the team rather than just one person. So coming along, what are agents? Anyone know what are agents? No? Okay. So agents are basically what you're developing. It's a continuous workflow, the entire workflow for your development purpose. If you see here, uh, the loop which goes around is the agent should think first, it should act, then observe, and then repeat. So by thinking, what do we mean over here? We mean that the task which you are assigning to the agent, it should first research about it, okay, get to know what the work should be done, and then we go to the acting part. If you run, okay, without practicing or getting a warm up, you will pull a muscle on your leg, right? So we have to make sure that the thinking part or the planning part is done expertly over here. How do we do it? We ask the agent to perform the planning first. Then we ask the build agent to work on the plan step by step, and then check out the code which has been written by running a separate sub agent, and then repeating it again over here.
That's like a assistant.
Yes, it's like you have your own personal assistant to do a work over here. If you see the agentic loop over here, uh, if I have to like ask the agent to like, hey, fix my TypeScript errors or ESLint errors, what does the agent do first? The agent first checks, okay, these are the files which I need to pick up. Then it executes the outcome, and then we observe like, hey, there are three more errors which are present. Now let me fix that as well. So along with this, the single agent or the autonomous agent which comes into picture, the agent reads those files, as I told. It identifies the issues where you have problems or you want to attack, and then it fixes those and then runs it again and again and again. It also raises PR. You don't have to worry about that. So basic agentic workflow is like this. Like, hey, I want to fix the lending errors. It reads the first your ESLint ignores. Oops, one second. Then finds the issues which are present in your files over there. Then comes to the fixes which the agent needs to apply, runs the test again, and to make sure that the code changes which have been performed is has not broken any of your business logic, and all of your test cases which are already present are passing. And once everything is done correctly, then is when the agent like raises the PR. So why agent workflows matters? If you see, uh, agent never splits. Like, think that you host your agents in a container and you run it on a infinite loop basis. You message like if you have heard about OpenClaw, how does it work? You just message to the OpenClaw agent and it can like perform the next task and goes and on. You can perform the similar task over here by hosting that agent or that workflow in your GitHub Actions, and run that in every PR or every time when you want that change to be done. And great thing about agents are that you have the context in your code base. It never changes. uh, what if the tasks are complex, right? Like for example, when we are talking about single loop agent or single workflow agents, those are usually built for smaller work. Okay, like fixing the lens or very focused one task. What if the workflow changes and you have a complex task to be done? Like if you see here, you have a front end to be developed, also the backend JWT, writing the schema for the database, and at last writing the integration test cases. How do you make sure that those things are done correctly? That's where we utilize the multi-agent orchestration. Uh, why do we do that? There are multiple reasons. I will give you two main. Number one is the context. Single workflow, you will always hit the limit. Like for example, if you guys are utilizing the premium version of Claude, uh, great, you have 1 million token, 1 million context token over there. But if you're using like GitHub Copilot, you will hit the limit of 200K like pretty easily and pretty fast. So that's where the multi-agent work orchestration kind of like helps you out. It makes sure that the every agent or sub-agent workflow has its own context over there. So even if you are utilizing the Copilot, uh, the same sub-agent, let's say A, will have its own 200K token. Sub-agent B will have its own 200K token, and it kind of like helps you manage the context overload over here. And that's how it's done over here. As I said, why do we need or the advantages of multi-agent? One of the case was the context. The other thing is parallelization. You do the work in multiple ways, in multiple workflows, not just one tedious work. How I run is I will have a multi-agent workflow in, let's say, 10 terminals, which are running uh, uh, in uh, parallel and getting the work done as soon as possible. Linking that up in with the Jira tickets, and I don't have to do much over there. I just have to develop the workflows, making sure that it kind of like performs in a simultaneous work, and make the Jira tickets more contextual. Uh, what are the risks over here? Even though I'm kind of like promoting the agentic workflows over here, there are potential risks. And the number one is the hallucinations. Agent workflows are not this like does not give us 100% work outcome always. We have to make sure that the code is reviewed as detailed as possible and as deep as possible, so that we fix the hallucination issues. Um, some of the guardrails which we have is making sure the humidity loop is present. You make sure that you have adequate skills. By skills, I mean agent skills. For to make sure that the coding structure and the style which has been written is like unique, not unique but universal towards your team. Next slide, please. Yeah. Thank you. A safe integration of Jira, like you can integrate your Jira tickets like very safely, having your tokens. Do not use your token directly or provide directly to your agents. One of the someone did say that she was like writing the post in LinkedIn. Do not share your credential with agents. It is a security risk. But yeah, making sure that you have your tokens in your environment variable so that it kind of like gets looped in a simple workflow. Custom tools are definitely present. Making sure that you plug that out. We have multiple custom tools like Jira API, Slack notifications, and others, which helps you in day-to-day work. A full picture of the orchestration is the orchestration agent, which kind of like controls what goes where, or what is called first. Front-end agent and back-end agent. Uh, Coming down is the plugins where the guardrails are present, making sure the code which has been written is done correctly. um, key, take, Key takeaways are agents are not snippets or is not a simple workflow which is being done. It's a complex one. Make sure that you do it correctly. It's build multi-agent workflows, which is there for your scalability. Uh, Make sure that you write don't use tokens or tokens or anything direct to your agents. Please do not do that. do it yourself. Like Open Code is a free and open source tool which you could utilize to develop and agents and code with it. I will give you a small demo next over here of how an agent kind of like works. So if you see here, by agent, I mean it's a very simplistic flow over here. It's a linter.md file and it's a simple markdown file which the open code detects by it easily. It has a description which is very much important so that the primary agent identifies it easily how what is the purpose of this sub agent over here. Uh, there are tools over here like what the sub-agent could use, and definitely permissions like it can't perform everything over here. It can perform only some certain things like edit inside the src folder. It can't just go and write your manipulate your folder structure everywhere. It does need the permissions. Permissions are very much important. Make sure that you give limited permissions so that it doesn't do everything. You can also provide like database permissions and everything. You can control the entire thing over here. The linter agent is like very simple. It just checks React TypeScript and everything and runs ESLint uh, and has the instructions specifically for that. And what I would do here is just run that. What I'm doing over here is like uh, I'm asking the linter fix to fix all the ESLint errors or the buggy code which we have over here. And as this is running for a 2 minute period, what it will do is it will check the linter task and it will check the what are the guardrails or what are the instructions specified in the linter sub agent, and then it performs the action over here. And if you would like to check how the linter sub agent is working, oops. So it's checking down the ESLint JSON and performing the task. As you can see, it identifies what are the fixes it needs to put, and then performs the action one by one, and then confirms at the very end, like if everything is, what needs to be done over here, like reporting a summary of all the changes which has been performed. So building an agent or coding agent is very simple with open code. As you could see here, you don't need a um, you don't need to learn a lot of things. You just need to learn writing .md files, and that's it. A plain simple text file would suffice the requirement. And the work of the linter is completed. If I press up, oh, it's just asking me to provide the access. So yeah, this will continue for a minute or two, and then it completes the action. If you have any questions or would like to connect with me, please reach out to me in LinkedIn. I see one hand raised over there.
So actually, the question is, I have done one thing, plot
Yeah.
created one agent. How can I do that? That plot agent should automatically changes that plot MD by its own, because after developing certain features, I need to change the plot MD by me. To that have the context in it. So if the if generally do things by their own, but some context issue is there. 30 to 40% use that context.
Yeah, so for fixing the context issue, you could utilize certain tools like there's something called Graphify. And specifically with I'm talking about open code, but I think it's present for cloud code as well. Graphify allows you to like have a graph-based structure of your code base, and that way it doesn't need to check the entire code base for your updation of your cloud MD file. it will just find what are the files. Let's say certain files are changed and you want to update that, right? It will find those files itself and perform the action. Yes.
Using that
Skills.
context file in 2x 3 ways.
Skills would help in one way, but skills won't help you in getting the context. Your problem is with the context over there. Okay, as I said, like when you have like let's say Copilot or something like that, you will have the budget of 200K token. You won't be able to perform the entirety. Huh? Yes, so that's where Graphify or certain tools like Graphify would help you in that. Yes.
So you were talking about the guardrails that you want to put in any other agents that you are using. So I was the incident when there's a colleague person like she put all the guardrails, she checked the APIs that she is talking about, and what plot agent did that it run a migration file and sadly it migrated all the databases and completely lost our tables. So
Yes. So that's why.
what's the better way of putting a guardrail?
So, like, I will never run the agent in the production code or
Not in
the
the
production
production.
DB. That would be my first point there. The other thing is the human in the loop. I would definitely put that in first, and with agentic like workflows and the agentic code which is being written right now. What we are seeing also is a huge influx of PRs and the code which is being written, right? So it's really tough for you guys to like review each and every code line and then perform the action. So my suggestion over there is like micro PRs rather than full blown code where you don't know what's going on. So micro PRs will help you out. That's the other guardrail I would suggest. Uh,
Even after putting the guardrails, like she has mentioned that don't delete any stuff.
Yes, so that's where the like for example the open codes like structure, the permissions will it makes sure that it does that. Like it's specified this for that reason itself. Uh, I'm sorry, what?
PRs will be the best to actually use.
Yeah. Okay, please reach out to me after this. I'll be here. Thank you, everyone.
As I mentioned, that whoever will ask good questions will get something. And I will ask the volunteers to distribute this small token of appreciation to all of them who has asked questions. I guess there's two gentlemen was there. And yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Rishabh. That was an amazing session, right? Right? Yes. You have to be energetic, right? We are engineers. We are not serious people. We'll never be. So let's not try to be serious and here. Let's try to be fun. Let's try to be active. Let's try to just like this is a community event and yeah. So next, I would take a bit distracted from our lineup, and I will ask our attention to our sponsor, our title sponsor. Big round of applause for MindWeb's Ventures. So they have something to share, something to discuss with you all. So I will call them up on the stage. So yeah, thank you. And
Good afternoon, everyone. So it's almost evening. So it's been like almost 3-4 years after which Mindwas is getting back into community things. And it is very nice to see this and great job React Kolkata team that you have set this up. So while the brief 5 minutes that will take of your time before I think you are supposed to head up to the break, I'm not going to take much of your time.
Thank you.
I'll tell you a little bit about us and why we are a part of this and how we want to see you guys joining this organization, this community, and also us. So please bear with us till the day is up.
Okay. F11 F11 बोलो.
Okay, so hi. All right, so I'm Deepan. I'm one of the founders of Mindverse Ventures. Probably you don't know us because we are mostly into the B2B space. I'll take a brief moment about what we do and how we want to see new faces to our organization and the process that we want to build forward. So we are a data-driven organization that is mainly into statistical machine learning. So what we help is helping businesses with not the AI first solutions. While we are deeply invested into AI, we generally don't say we're an AI company. We're a statistical company that helps businesses to understand their data, predict outcomes, and forecast various things like revenue, anomalies, problems, and issues. So the main reason why we are a part of this and how we want to see you is that we are actively promoting our product across the Indian landscape. We're highly based in the US, Europe, and Australian landscape. And to do so, we obviously need more people coming with us, more people joining hands with us and understand our product and contribute to our product. So if you are someone who loves challenges, who is into statistical modeling, someone who understands mathematics and does things like that, we are eager to be a part of your journey and have you as a part of our team. So that would be the most basic thing. However, one thing that we wanted to share here that we are also a company that is slowly moving towards open source. If you look up at our GitHub, we'll be closing out and opening some of our repositories that we want the team to work. Not a really a company will be into the full stack projects, but more into SDKs, more into infrastructures that helps businesses run their softwares. So that's something we're doing. So we like to see collaborators from this organization and also into things like React and stuff like that. I'll take a minute to explain data science. It's a spatial modeling tool that helps businesses to understand their data, driving them into actionable intelligence through the use of models that they can run on their premise as well as through our cloud, and thereafter have multiple sub modules of it that has risk, anomaly detection, fraud detection, projections, as well as by bread and butter forecasting of data. So if you are someone who has interest in doing something like this, here's a website on the next slide. Uh, you can ask me anything that we do, and if you are interested, you can just reach out to us, and um, there is a path that where we can coordinate. So looking forward to it. Any questions that may you have for us? All right then. Thank you, Sulagna. Thank you, team. You have done a great job in assembling everyone here. Um, Good luck with the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for sharing this. And we are at the very end of our speaking sessions, right? And after there is a one talk left, I think all of us is waiting for that talk. I personally am as well. So our final speaker of the day with a genuinely remarkable profile. Trust me, she is a developer advocate at AWS with over 10 years of full stack development experience. She is a co-creator of award-winning open source agentic API client, a Google Open Source Award recipient, a Google Summer of Code mentor org maintainer, and has delivered over 100 of talks at conferences across the world, React India, CTJS, India Force, like you can just name. She had celebrated that as well, our 100 of top with a lot of cards, ID cards, and that is a very fascinating scene to watch. So yes, a big round of applause for Ashita Prasad, and I'm handing the mic over to her. Please, yeah, that's the spirit.
Thank you everyone. It's really great to be here. So, I'm Ashita, I work at AWS, and today I'll be talking about Gen UI for React developers. So, how many of you have heard about generative UI, Gen UI? A quick show of hands? Very few, no problem. But after the session today, you will know what it is, and I'm pretty sure you'll build a lot of projects with it. So let me talk about a friend of mine, Priya. She works as a sales analyst in a mid-sized consumer goods company. And what you see on the screen right now is a typical day in her day-to-day work. So her VP of sales messages her, asks her for some sales data for certain regions, and the time that he wants it in is as soon as possible. So what she does is she promptly gets on top of it, starts using an AI tool that her company has been talking about. And you can see on the screen, when she types her prompt, she gets this huge block of text. And she starts thinking that how do I now figure out what the relevant data is from the block that has been generated. So now let me take a step back and just walk through the typical process that we sort of use to interact with an LLM. So you as a user, you ask a question. That's the prompt. And once that prompt goes to the LLM generates an answer, right? So for example, if I ask, what is the current weather in Darjeeling? This is what I get, 26 degrees centigrade, sunny. But now if you go and check any weather platform, you will see that it is cloudy in Darjeeling right now. It's not sunny. So clearly, the LLM is hallucinating. So on its own, an LLM, it has a knowledge cutoff firstly, and secondly, it tends to hallucinate a lot. While it is great at understanding and reasoning and generating text, but what it can't do is it cannot act on your behalf. So, like when I'm asking, what is the weather right now in Darjeeling? It cannot go and say call a weather API on its own and try to figure out what the temperature is in Darjeeling right now. That is something that it cannot do. It cannot influence the external systems. And that is why an LLM on its own tends to hallucinate. But what can help is adding tools. And what are tools? Tools are basically a function that gives your LLM an objective to fulfill. So you can see some of the popular tools here. You have web search, you have retrieval. A lot of you might be using the fetch tool. So what tools do here is LLMs in general, they are non-deterministic. No matter the number of times I give the same input, I will get different outputs, right? What tools bring into this system is they bring determinism. They bring these deterministic capabilities into inherently non-deterministic systems. So what I mean by that is, say now, if I give this tool, which is my weather API, to the LLM and ask it, what is the temperature right now in Darjeeling? The LLM now will automatically understand that it has to call the tool. It will give the relevant parameters to the tool and it will give you the right answer, which is here 19 degrees centigrade cloudy. But if you notice, all the interactions that we have done so far, whether directly asking the LLM or even using a tool, were all text based. You put in text, you get back text. Text in, text out. Like our friend Priya also here, all she got back was huge amounts of text. And that is what got me thinking. You know, what if the responses were not text? What if when I ask it that tell me the weather in Darjeeling, it gives me a beautiful car. And if you go back and think a little more, you will see all the applications that we have used so far. Just think about your any favorite application, a food ordering application, anything. Everywhere your UI is fixed. It's developer defined. What if basis the user intent, basis my prompt as a user that I give, what if the interfaces can change? So let me show you an example. So say when I ask it to search for a painting. So here I am asking art made by Van Gogh. What if instead of just giving me a block of text, it gives me these three beautiful paintings in this awesome layout. Or what if when I ask it to do some task planning, say get drinks with a friend of mine? Can you see how the interface is changing automatically based on your interactions? Right? Can you see that? Can you see how the user experience is also improving a lot? So, say when coming back to our Darjeeling example, so now when I ask GenUI, I add GenUI to our setup. Instead of just saying 19 degrees centigrade cloudy, I get this beautiful card component. Or when our friend Priya now puts the prompt for getting the data, instead of a block of text, she gets these beautiful charts, these beautiful visualizations, which she can directly pass to her boss. So this is something that we call generative UI. So here, your agents just don't generate text. They take an active role in generating user interfaces as well. So they can give structured UI specs. They can also give back interactive user interfaces. And what these do is that because of this, you will no longer have developer defined hard coded layouts, but you will have dynamic personalized interfaces. And one of the ways to do it is through A2UI. So A2UI is an open source protocol that lets these agents generate interactive interfaces. And all of this is completely open source. It has an Apache 2.0 license. So feel free to check it out. And here the agent always sends the data in JSON format. So everything is happening in JSON format here. And we'll look into it in more detail. So there are three key main things about A2UI. So first is that A2UI is secure by design. Security first is a principle that they have followed through and through. So how is it secure? So your agents in A2UI do not return code. They return only data in JSON format. So there is no risk of any arbitrary code execution or any sort of attack. So it becomes secure. The second thing is it is LLM friendly. So A2UI uses a flat JSON streaming way, which is called as it uses the JSON L output instead of having nested JSON or nested HTML, which is very difficult for LLMs to generate. And because of this, it is LLM friendly. The third thing is that it is framework agnostic. So whether you use React, whether you use Angular, whether you use Flutter, you can use this protocol and it does not depend on your framework per se. So now let us take a look at how it actually works. So you as a user send a prompt. Your agent or your LLM thinks about that prompt, understands it, reasons about it, and then emits a response. Now that response is basically your A2UI JSON. And what this A2UI JSON response has is that it has a list of components and how the surface should look like. Then you have the renderer. Now this is at your front end renderer basically, which is going to understand these components, understand what the A2UI JSON has, and it will render it natively in your components. Then say you have a user interaction. Say there's a button, the user clicks on the button. So that user interaction is going to be sent back as a structured typed event. Now this is very important that the user interaction is not being sent as a free form text. Again, it's going to be sent as a structured typed event which the LLM will understand. So we talked about A2UI, but there is also another way in which GenUI can be done. So how many of you know about MCP or Model Context Protocol? Yes, a lot of you. So in MCP, your tools again typically only return text, right? Have any of you have worked with tools that can also give you UI components? No. So that is basically the MCP apps extension. What happens here is that you define UI as a resource in the tool, and the tool, if your MCP host supports rendering, supports the MCP apps extension, so when you call that tool, you also get a UI component. So I've written a detailed article on it with code samples and everything. So if you want to try it out or have a look into it in more detail, you can scan this QR code. So in MCP apps, the way it basically works is you have pre-built HTML in sandboxed iframes, and the isolation that happens with the host is via the sandbox. And it is really helpful in case you have tool specific UIs. So now we'll take a look into some core concepts around A2UI. So the first is components and structure. So in A2UI, we use the adjacency list model to represent our components. So this is basically, like you can see, the component definition on the screen. So you have a root ID and you have 3 more components within that. So if you closely look, any component has 4 key parts. One is the ID, which is the unique identifier. Then you have the type, which says what type of component it is. Then you have children, if that particular component has any children. And then you have your properties, which says what values you have to sort of provide for that component to render appropriately. And you can see here again, you can see how in a flat list we are sending all the components that we want to display. And this also helps in incremental rendering or progressive rendering. So what happens now is that your LLM is not going to wait indefinitely for the entire thing to be formed. As and when it gets information one by one, it's going to start displaying it. And you can have incremental updates as well. Either by, if you want to change anything, you can just keep the same ID and change the props. Or you can add or remove your children, or you can add a new ID as well. Coming to the second concept of data binding. So data binding is how your component actually connects to your application state. And in A2UI, you use JSON pointer paths to basically access the data. So you can see 2 ways we have done here. The first is the hard-coded. So I've hard-coded welcome here. And in the second one, I'm using a data bound approach. And you can see I'm giving it a path, username. So whenever the value in this path will change, your component will be rendered automatically. You don't have to do it. And in case of input bindings, it's bidirectional. So you can see here, if the user types Alice, automatically the data is going to be updated in your data model. The third concept, which is very important, is the concept of catalogs. So what is a catalog here? So basically it's a list of components. So A2UI by default gives the basic catalog. So there are certain components that are provided by the A2UI library by default. And also you have these components like button, text, card, etc. Now, when you are building a application in production, you're going to have your own design system, you're going to have your own components. So for that, you can leverage custom catalog. So there you have the ability to add all your own components in the way you want. And then the third is basically negotiation, where the client actually makes sure it gives the data to the agent about what catalog it can use from. So the way it happens here is your agent can never hallucinate about a component that is not there in the catalog. The agent has to strictly pick the component from the catalog itself. And in that way, your catalog also acts as a security boundary. So this ensures that when you are implementing GenUI in your applications, the user experience will be consistent. The LLM is not going to go hallucinate and create something that doesn't, match with the design system or with the brand guidelines that you have. And the validation again here happens both at the agent side and the client side. So let us take a look at the example here. So this you can see is a catalog item, which is the action button that I have made. And you can see the action button on the right. So this is the source. You can see it's just like any other React component. This is the JSON schema. This is the schema that we use to define that catalog item. And you can see it has properties, it has label, it has the path, it has the variant and everything. And the third thing that you see here is the A2UI JSON. So when my LLM or agent wants to build this is the JSON that it is going to emit. It's going to respond with. So you can see here surface update, and I'm going to talk about surface in a while. But if you go to the third line, you can see the ID, you can see the component, you can see all the relevant data being passed to the component. So you can see the label, you can see the string being passed and everything. So let me show you another example of a catalog item. So this is like a donut chart. So here again you can see how the A2UI JSON looks and how it is like a flat JSON L structure. So components are actually only one part of the story, but the place where they're going to be displayed, the UI part, that is something that is called surface. So in our day-to-day app language, you can say that a surface typically corresponds to your application page, to a page in the application. That is what is a surface. So the best thing in A2UI is how do you define these surfaces? So you can simply use prompts to define the surfaces. And the agent in the backend will basically take a call as to what data has to go, what should be the layout, and everything depending on the user prompt. And that is where dynamic user interfaces and personalization will start coming in. So you can also see, like, say if I want to add a new component to a surface, it will be so easy. I just have to go make sure that that component is present in the catalog and just change the prompt. So this is what a surface is. So on the right hand side, everything that you see is one surface. And this is how the A2UI JSON for the surface looks like. So coming to the other concept is about transports. So A2UI is transport agnostic. So anything, any protocol or any transport mechanism that you use that can carry JSON will work. Coming to user actions. So how does A2UI take care of actions? So there are two types of actions inherently. One is your local actions or something that the agent need not know about. So for example, when you click a URL, the agent need not know about that. So that is something that gets executed immediately on the renderer itself. The second is, say when you click on submit or when you click on submit reservation kind of things. So that is something the agent needs to know about, and that is your events agent thing. So here again, like we discussed, when I click on something, a structured data is going to go to the agent. And you can see the format for both of them on the screen. So now let us see how you can do it in React. So there's a library for that called A2UI React, and it helps you build and integrate A2UI in your React applications. It's there on NPM, so you can check it out there. And I also wanted to talk about some of the other renderers that are there. So React renderer is there, but if you use Lit, Angular, or even Flutter, we have A2UI renderers for these as well, and they are in the stable version also. Okay, so A2UI renderer is pretty basic right now, and you have to bring your own LLM provider. It does not provide any LLM provider out of the box. So the LLM provider that I'm going to show you is about Amazon Bedrock. So how many of you have heard of Amazon Bedrock? Oh, quite a few of you. That's nice. So for those of you who don't know about it, so Amazon Bedrock will give you basically a unified API that will let you access all the leading models, say from Anthropic, from Meta, even models like GPT, OSS, etc. So you can scan this QR code to get started with Amazon Bedrock. And to integrate Amazon Bedrock, we'll have to build our own client here. This is basically an HTTP client that will let you access Bedrock Converse API. Yeah, you can just scan the QR code. And as you can see, you'll need three things to get the to use Bedrock. You'll need your region, you will need your API key, and you will need the model. And this is where we'll be